All you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet.
Saying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Akos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Akos.
All right. Welcome, everyone in Radio Land and everybody out there on the internet throughout the world. This is the Conservative Syndicate. I am your host today, Joe Akos. I'm flying solo. The Mad Prophet is on vacay. He's out somewhere in the world doing whatever you do on vacation. I don't know. It's pretty cool for John. But hey, welcome, everybody. We appreciate you being here. Again, this the Conservative Syndicate, easy for me to say, the Conservative Syndicate. We are a nationally syndicated show, and we oppose the leftist progressive agenda. The Conservative Syndicate, our show tears down that imaginary wall of separation between church and state. Tear down that wall, Mad Prophet. Tear it down. Yeah, we try to do this now, tearing down that wall. Through education, information, and we try to engage with folks. So we do appreciate that because we want to reclaim our standing as one nation under God eventually. That's what we want to do. If we can get there closer, the quicker we can, the better off we'll all be. So really, again, appreciate everybody for being here. And hopefully we can get through this. John's going to be out for quite a while. And so I'm just going to try to muddle through this and get this together, see how it works out. It's been a while since I've been flying, so I don't know. I was working without a net. We never know. And what are we going to talk about today? I think we're probably going to talk a little bit about maybe some election stuff. You know, there is an election coming on in November, as if nobody knew about it. Might talk about that a little bit. Might have a friend coming on here in a little bit, and haven't talked to him in a while, and he's been enjoying himself, I think, immensely. And so we'll see if he kind of shows up here. It'd be really nice if he does. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a little bit about what we were covering the last few shows about the Obama and Susan Rice and her little recruitment tour, I guess is what you call it. You know, they're out, and it's an honor for these college students to have these government officials show up and talk at their commencement for their graduation, because they're getting out in the world. Don't do it. Don't come out in the world. It's crazy out there. It's hard to be an adult. But so we're gonna talk about that a little bit, and we probably talk about. Well, of course, I'm going to talk a little bit about Obama and his role in telling people and school districts throughout the land what to do as far as what bathroom they should use. I didn't know that after almost 8 years of Obama, we can't figure out how to go to the bathroom now. It's really, really just unbelievable. So, hey, we'll see how we muddle through this today. We'll get by. I know we can do this and make it happen. It's going to be fun, and I wish John and his lovely wife nothing but the best out there on vacation. I know they're going to enjoy themselves. And hey, everybody should get a vacation every once in a while. It's always good. You need to sometimes you got to recharge your batteries. Even the Mad Prophet has to recharge his batteries, and so. we'll see if we can't carry on and trudge on without him here. So, without anything else being said about that, let's move right along. I'd like to remind people today, just a little bit. This is something I get off the internet here. This is from William Bennett, former Secretary of Education there, and I'm going to just talk a little bit about the POW MIA flag. Today had a nice little briefing from a Vietnam era POW, and just described exactly what was going on there through his period of captivity, and it was just a somber reminder of what these guys went through. Even though Donald Trump said John McCain wasn't a war hero, that may be so, but John McCain did endure what he had to endure while he was over in Hanoi at the Hanoi Hilton, and probably a little bit more than some other folks there because his daddy was an admiral and such. So, the POW MIA flag, somber, the debt we owe thousands of Americans, POWs, and those are missing in action, which is probably even worse because there's no idea what's going on. Usually, and now it's been so long, it's you're lucky if you even get the remains back from your loved ones. So, and there are the POW MIA flag. I don't know if you knew this or not. POW is the only flag displayed in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, and it stands as an emblem of resolve that our nation will never forget those who have suffered in enemy captivity and those missing and unaccounted for. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial in D.C. is another place where you see this POW MIA flag, and if you were here with me and if you could see things in Radio Land, I have one hanging up in my little quote-unquote studio here. So, because we should never forget these guys. So, inscribed on the monuments walls of more than the 58,000 soldiers, and I don't know if you ever get a chance to go there into D.C. and watch that. It's truly somber, and they do have the traveling wall. So if it becomes time that you can do that, go and visit that. But out of the 58,000 names on the Vietnam Wall, 1,200 are those names that represent POWs and/or those missing in action. And Congress specified 6 days when it's particularly appropriate to fly the POW MIA flag. Memorial Day, which is coming up soon, Flag Day, Independence Day, or July 4th. But every nation in the world has July 4th, but only we have it on Independence Day. The National POW MIA Recognition Day, which is the third Friday in September, and Veterans Day. And not to be outdone, and I want to remind folks again, this weekend, this Saturday, is Armed Forces Day. Again, Armed Forces Day is observed the third Saturday in May. It's a day to salute the soldiers of all branches of the military. Remember that we'd have no peace, security, or freedom without these folks. Remember, Memorial Day honors America's war dead. Veterans Day honors those who have served in times past. Armed Forces Day, this Saturday, recognizes those that are presently serving. So please, if you get the chance and opportunity, get out there this weekend. And if you run by some folks, a lot of times you're not going to know if they're serving right now, unless they're in uniform. They're not going to be wearing uniform every minute of every day. But if you see these folks, especially if you're traveling out and you see them in the airport, hey, just tell them thanks. Don't get all crazy about it. Just tell them thanks. That's really, because that's all you need to do. At least I know these folks are basically doing it. They're serving their country because that's what they want to do. They don't want anything else other than maybe say thank you. It'd be really nice if our government would pull its collective head out of its butt and actually take care of our veterans and active duties a lot better. But that's a whole other story. And another part of the show that we'll probably have to do a show on that. So looks like we're well on to our way to doing the show today. So again, thank you for being here at the Conservative Syndicate. We still, in time-honored tradition here, we're going to have to pay some bills. So I'm going to go ahead and run our first set of commercials, and we'll be back just as soon as they get done. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back here on the Conservative Syndicate. Thanks a bunch.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first, and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment, and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. This is Joe Hakos here on the Conservative Syndicate. Glad you're there with us. Oh, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Hey, I do believe right now, as you probably heard, I have our first guest, one of my friends here who, unfortunately, and this is a rarity for us here on the Conservative Syndicate, another Floridian, another guy in Florida. So without further ado, Mr. JUSA, Mr. Chris Ivan. Chris, do you have me? Do you got me?
I do have you, my friend. How are you this evening?
Oh man, I'm just glad that you're here. Glad everybody's out there. I'm trying to make it through the show today, man. It's trying to just trying to get settled in.
Yeah, I know all about that. Of course, if anybody remembers me, I'm from a former group that you were a part of, and I got to know Joe pretty good. And Joe is a straight up conservative, level-headed dude, and it's great to be on here with you.
Oh man, I'm blushing right now, man. Thanks, appreciate that. Yeah. So Chris, what's been up, man? I saw with your Facebook stuff, you're like a world traveler and stuff, huh?
Yeah, I did take a much needed vacation, and I must say that vacations are something that I really should do a lot more often, like all the time. But this time we went up to North Carolina, Chimney Rock and Lake Lure, and absolutely stunningly beautiful up there. It was absolutely incredible. I probably needed a break from all the monotony of what's been going on in the conservative side of the media and the election and everything else. So it was much needed.
So you got everything recharged. You're back. You're ready to run strong until November. Now, is that what you're telling us?
Either that, or I'll be ready for a vacation in a couple of weeks.
I think well, vacation it does come in handy. That's where our co-host, the guy that's usually here running things, Mr. Matthews, our mad prophet. That's where he's at. This is his first day of vacation, and so I just wish him well on there. I hope he doesn't. Hope everything goes smoothly, because sometimes vacations can be more work than they're worth.
Yeah, I got really lucky this time, and it was kind of a spur of the moment, but the tourist season doesn't really start till May 28th there, so there wasn't a lot of people there, and there was plenty to do. Obviously, the water activities, the beach area, weren't open yet, but I was never going to go anywhere near that water anyway, because I'm a Florida guy, and 45-degree water is not my thing. But
no.
Other than that, it was absolutely awesome.
It's funny you say that, because you see these folks coming, these snowbirds come on down this way, and the water be frigid, and they'll be out there at the beach, and it's like, you guys are nuts, man. I ain't going anywhere near that water right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but it was just the timing and everything worked out great. And for the most part, the locals were friendly. There was, it's in the mountains, and you've got people that were there born and raised forever, and they don't like the inevitability of change. And the speed limit is 35 miles an hour on the main road through there, because it's twisted and curving, and the pedestrian areas, it drops down to, let's say 25 to 15 miles an hour. I seen one middle finger come up. It's just as soon as I got there, telling me to tourist go home or whatever. And I've seen that a couple other times. But other than that, the people were friendly. They really try hard to be high class, kind of snobby people. The people working at the areas over there. But it's funny to watch. They're really trying hard to look sophisticated. They're not that sophisticated, but it was fun to see, and they're trying really hard. And I think the cool thing about this place, it's not close to the interstate.
Well, that's a plus right there.
Yeah, so you don't get a lot of traffic through there. It's a little hard to find, so it's an interesting place if you ever get a chance to check it out. Check out Chimney Rock and Lake Lure. It's pretty cool.
That sounds like a good time, actually. It sounds perfect if you wanted to get away and just not be touristy, because that's, us down here in Florida, that's all we have is a lot of tourists, and a lot of times the restaurants and service industries treat everybody like a tourist. It's like, no, which really starts to bug me because it's like, hey, I live here. I'm going to, and you should probably treat everybody a little bit better. So I'm glad you had. Hey, so tell me, Chris, what's been going on in your world? I remember way back there you were kind of interested in this political environment thing. So what have you been keeping up with that, brother?
I certainly have. And
that was a leading question.
I've done a couple of radio shows with a former co-host who wanted to take the show in a direction I was not comfortable with. And, I'm not the kind of person that will come on the air and shill for anybody. I won't do it for anybody, not even Ted Cruz, who I supported in this campaign. And they felt the need that they needed to take it in that direction. And that's just not my style. I'm not going to do that. So we have parted ways from that operation. And I'm looking to fire up a new show, kind of my own style. And
cool.
it's in the works. I've taken a few weeks off. I said 2 weeks. But, doing a show 4 or 5 days a week, it takes a lot of time and effort, preparation. And I've just been catching up on things around here that I needed to get done. So it's coming. I'm just trying to get some of these other honeydew things taken care of and get something put together. And we'll get back on the air in short order, I'm sure.
Well, you have to let us know all about that when you get that thing together so we can get people out there to listen to you and everything, man. I'm sure it's going to be fun.
Oh, it definitely will, and it will not be a shill show. And one of the reasons I want to come on here is talk about the media. Our side of the media has been just a total shill situation. And I know people probably might know me on Facebook, and I did tweet a lot of pro-Cruz stuff, but I swear I never on the air shilled for anybody. And I just think that's the disconnect that a lot of the media on our side has, is it's just blatant shilling. And I didn't do it for Ted Cruz or anybody else. And I just feel like we missed a great opportunity. We had such a talented field to choose from.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And we're left with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. It does say something about the electorate. And we were talking about that the other day about did Donald Trump really bring people to the Republican Party, or was that just all smoke and mirrors kind of deal? I remember we talked about it, and and in the article we were pointing out was South Carolina, which was an open primary. Anybody could vote in the Republican primary there, and but really, what did he bring? It was still pretty much same numbers that he had that you had before. So these people. And it's amazing how you couldn't even talk to some people if you said anything wrong. Either way, if it was against Trump or it was against Cruz, you got crucified for it. And then you get people with friends forever, and then all of a sudden you can't even talk to each other anymore.
Yeah, I found that to be the case, and me personally, I lost a lot of friends, but I've gained upteen more on social media.
Well, yeah,
actually my Facebook has exploded. It's Chris Ivan 334. If anybody wants to follow me there, but it has exploded. There is a huge segment of people that just can't stomach Donald Trump right now. Maybe that'll change, but I didn't unfriend anybody unless they posted personal attacks against the candidate of my preference, and I'm not talking about stuff that was substantive. I'm talking about, stuff about his wife or his kids or that kind of garbage. If that person, needs to post that, I don't want to see it on my timeline. And I didn't do the same towards anybody else. I mean, that's just gutter stuff to me.
It was pretty much that kind of stuff was uncalled for. And there's a lot more of that this time for whatever reason. It was just kind of crazy, And and then we were also talking about it before. On the Democratic side, they're in the same boat almost. They're starting to get it actually is starting to pick up even more in the just the discourse, the rhetoric. That's just it's definitely they're not all unified as they'd like you to believe.
No, they're not. And I'm watching this thing. Of course, we all know the deck was stacked against Bernie Sanders. And many of the Democrats are starting to see that. And they talked about the little dust up in Las Vegas, what went on there. But it was stacked against him. And there's a large segment there. And I don't know, we've always talked in past election cycles that there might be some discontent among the ranks of Democrats, but they always seem to pull together, it seems. And that has never really been the case for our side.
No.
So I don't know where that'll go, but I suspect unless, and this election cycle is just rewriting everything because nothing has gone the way any of the political experts expected it to go. So I don't know. Maybe there is some legitimate never Hillary people on the Democrat side. I'm just not convinced of that. And the only thing I can go by is past history, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I see them coming together, but then again, when we look at the folks that are supporting the feel the burn guy, they historically, these young folks don't get out there and participate. And once their guy is no longer there, they don't go, well, let me look at it and see if I want to go ahead and actually be a participant in this process and get to the other person, because it's like, I'm taking my football and going home and that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. So I don't know. I think probably Hillary would like to get those people on her side, but I don't think that's going to happen for her.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch. And then we got the guy on our side who, a lot of people do not like, and part of the Never Trump movement. I've seen a lot of people that are in that movement. I've seen some of them change their reasoning on that and have buckled or changed their mind whether they would support Trump candidacy or not.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm at yet. I'm going to wait till like the end of September and make up my mind. But right now, I mean, I would just love another option, and I'm not seeing anything viable.
It's not going to happen.
Point.
I can tell you right now, it's not going to happen because you're running up against time deadlines on a way to get on a ballot in November, because you have to get whatever state it is, you have to get petitions signed, and if it's a large state, you have to get hundreds of thousands of signatures signed on a petition to get you on the ballot, and desperately running on a time. It's not going to happen. So I think you and I are probably in the same boat here, as we're going to have to go ahead and really make up our mind, because I got a feeling that if you're a Never Trump guy, then it's just a way that puts Hillary Clinton in the White House. And I don't even want to think about that. It's just because, and the other thing is a reason being the most important thing to me, and I know for John Matthews, our host here, he adamantly, and I'm the same way, it's the Supreme Court, people. That's the biggest issue going on, because as our friend Josh Bernstein said, these people can barely fog a mirror. So it makes you go, whoa. So it is an important issue.
Oh, it certainly is. And reading a few articles, I read a lot. I don't watch Fox News anymore. I watch a little bit of CNN. It's just as nauseating as Fox News anymore. But I read an article by Kurt Schlichter he wrote a few months back, and he says, if you don't want to vote for Donald Trump, I don't blame you, but there's this one thing. And he mentioned the Supreme Court, and his verbiage was, there is a chance Donald Trump could appoint a conservative to the high court. And I mean, that's something. Chance. But I mean, to say, well, he's not Hillary, I'm the kind of guy that needs a little bit more than that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, we know what Hillary's going to bring to us on the Supreme Court. So we know what that's going to be. And so there's, like he says, the chance Donald will do it. So, well, we'll have to see. Hey, we'll have to carry on. We'll carry this discussion on a little bit further. Right? We've got to go ahead and pay some bills here. And so we'll be right back after this brief time out here on the Conservative Syndicate. So please stay by, and we'll be right back.
Red State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-814-5188. 800-814-5188. 800-814-5188. That's 800-814-5188.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, and bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough?
They can get you too. So call the Tax Relief Line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
Welcome back to the Conservative Syndicate, here with Joe Hakos and Mr. Chris Ivan. Yay! Glad everybody's here. Welcome back. And just a reminder, please visit our website if you want to get any of the archives of this show or any of the other shows. You can always go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and you can find them there. Chris, you still with me there, brother?
I am absolutely still here.
Cool, man. So, hey, so you're probably just in the same boat as I was with all this Donald Trump. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this. I'm sure you probably have, but have you noticed that he's kind of either toned some things down or he's kind of walked some things back?
Oh, I have absolutely noticed that. I think the one that broke today was the wall. The wall is just basically a fantasy, which I called a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous to think you're going to put a 1,000-mile wall in the middle of the desert. Meanwhile, stories are breaking of tunnels being discovered. I mean, what the hell good is a wall when these guys are digging tunnels that are almost a mile long, got rail systems, lights, oxygen systems in them? I mean, it's just ridiculous. On the other show, the other guy who doesn't talk to me anymore, I said, I work with these people all the time because I own a construction company.
Okay.
And if they break a shovel, they don't call it a day. They don't run to the hardware store. They'll take their machete out of their van and hack off a branch and put a new handle on the shovel. That's just the way they are. That's the way they roll.
Yeah.
And to think that, putting up this wall and it's going to change anything is just ridiculous. I can understand the benefit of a wall maybe in an urban area. Most of the urban areas already have the wall. You need people. You need technology. You don't need to build this metaphor. And really, it was a metaphor. The wall is just a metaphor. It's really a joke. And, but people gravitated to it. And they actually believe it. It just makes no sense. It's like he's messaging to the lowest common denominator of people's thoughts. Well, yeah, China built the wall. We can build this wall. It's ridiculous.
Well, maybe that's why he said he would be able to talk to Kim Jong-un there in North Korea, because they seem to have a pretty good border there between North and South.
Hey, did you get a flashback to Obama when he said that? I mean, that's what I got. He's like, oh, I'll talk to our enemies. I'll sit down with them. That was the same thing Obama said.
There's a lot of comparisons to Mr. Obama that Mr. Trump and this whole campaign has frightened me a little bit. The hope and change became "Make America Great Again," So it's like, whoa, it's just a slogan, but wow, it kind of frightens me a little bit. Really, it's like, come on, people, think about this a little bit. What's he going to really do? And he's walking this stuff back, and then he sits there with what's her name? Who's that blonde?
Megan?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's like they all made nice again.
That was pathetic for her to crawl up into his little tower in New York City and try to mend fences or something. That was pretty pathetic. I didn't think Megyn Kelly did a whole lot wrong. I thought maybe that first question at that one debate was maybe a little over the top, but she's a talented woman. She didn't need to go crawling to him. I wonder if there was a little pressure at the top over there at Fox News to do that, but that was pathetic.
Yeah, I don't know if they're like you said, and I do the same thing. I really stopped watching them because it became the Donald Trump channel. no matter what he did, if he sneezed, that he was on television, and it became just like, okay, all you're going to see is Donald Trump. There's more going on in the world besides Donald Trump. So I wanted to get other things. So I wonder if their ratings are taking a hit.
That's what I've been reading. I read that CNN actually passed them up before I went on vacation, and I was like, wow, that should be an eye opener there. And I don't know if it was or it wasn't. I haven't watched the channel to see if they've changed course at all. But
they haven't done that. You know, they haven't changed course.
Probably not. No, people are stubborn. But I mean, people are telling. I've seen on social media. Well, I went to CNN. I've watched CNN. I've seen the Trump show going on over there. Today, unfortunately, there was a plane hijacking, and that pretty much dominated. They're basically doing the same model Fox News is, speculating on what happened with this aircraft and sending out everybody a bunch of misinformation that is unverified and turns out to be mostly false. But I can't find my groove there either. I'm pretty happy doing what I do, is just reading.
Yeah.
And if the article's bogus, I'm more than happy to click out of it and find something else.
Yeah, it's amazing. You say that. I guess, for lack of a better term, the gold standard that was the Drudge Report has found to be a little wanton there with their little sensationalizing of headlines to get people to go there, with Donald Trump and everything. It's just like, this is just, like you said before, a really weird election cycle this year. Some really strange goings on this year.
Yeah, and I got a little axe to grind with Matt Drudge. We're in a situation where the left always paints the right as racist and misogynistic and everything else.
Well, yes.
And that one headline he had, the Cuban sandwich, that was just too much. I just blew up on that one. That was ridiculous. That was not necessary. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz are just as much American as Donald Trump is, and I was just disgusted that he threw that up there. And I get there's a little tongue-in-cheek there, but it wasn't just that one. There was others.
Yeah,
I am done with that.
There's been others where it's just been plain false.
You're absolutely right. And then we've got the cheerleader for Trump, Ann Coulter, who, when Chris Christie endorsed Donald Trump, she comes out with this happy little tweet. We got our old Chris Christie back. She just got done saying the guy was dead to her. But it's just pathetic to see people waffle, bend, cave, buckle like they have. That's not my style. I just can't do it. The big reason I was a Ted Cruz supporter and still am is because I've seen him do it. He's actually done it. He hasn't talked it. He's done it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny. We talked about this ad nauseum about these were people that were quote unquote conservatives, but then they're supporting things like more taxes, bigger government, government intervention into whatever, and it's like, isn't that what you would railed against with Obama doing it? Now it's okay because Trump's doing it. It makes you kind of go, well, what are you talking about? Did you actually believe this, or is it just because your guy is now going to do it and he can do it better? That reminds me exactly of one of those other similarities between this election and Obama's, especially his first campaign.
Yeah, and I read an article about that. You hate it when Barack does it, and you love it when Trump does it. Basically, there's a lot of similarities there. And I don't think Trump's an idiot. He's not very smart on important issues, but he knows how the game is played, and he saw what, how Obama managed to win twice, and he probably learned from it, and he's using the same MO.
Well, but it's a good thing because he's using the culture to get ahead. And Andrew Breitbart said it's always upstream. Same thing. So he's got that down. He's got the media down. So, and that's what, again, that's what the progressives always had on their side was the media. So, hey, he's a smart guy. He's a smart little fellow, that Donald Trump guy.
He certainly is. And I watched Fox News, every time Donald Trump spoke, I mean, they just cut to it over and over again. And I understand people wanted to see it, but they didn't give the same airtime to anybody else. And there's been plenty of studies that shown that. So
bingo, absolutely, yeah. Because they would have anybody from the Trump campaign on, and in the same breath, they would never, and they would say, "Well, we put the invites out to the other candidates, but they just refused to come on." I refuse to believe that happened.
Yeah, and whenever I wanted to watch one of the other candidates, you mentioned Ted Cruz. It's a grainy video that pops in and out. It doesn't, there's not enough bandwidth. And I went to one of these cruise things in Orlando. Carl Cameron was there. They had cameras there. They didn't broadcast it. He was there.
Oh, wow.
They didn't. It was. I mean, that's blatant. I mean, if you're in the news business and you're supposed to be fair and balanced, and this is not sour grapes. This is observations.
Yes.
Being on the ground. You've probably seen it just like I have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whenever Trump went in front of a microphone, they just went all Trump on there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was like, hey, and they're just little ratings whores. Hey, Chris, we're going to take another short break, and then we'll be right back. You going to stick around for me?
Yep.
All right, brother. All right, folks, thanks for being here. Joe Hakos with Chris Ivan, and here on the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back after this short, brief message.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, welcome back. Joe Hakos here on the Conservative Syndicate with Chris Ivan, and told you to be a short one, so welcome back, everybody. So, Chris, we have Mr. Trump. It looks like I think he's like less than 100 delegates away from getting the magic 1237. Oh, he's being robbed, and he should have that back. But yet, you still have our friend Mitt Romney out there actively seeking somebody to run against him in a third party. Suicidal mission, man.
It probably is. I don't think that there's any chance of a third party, and I've gotten plenty of inquiries and people pointing me towards some libertarian candidate, and they throw out Gary Johnson. I was like, no, that's a deal breaker. That dude is not anything like I am. And then they throw out this Austin Peterson, who is extremely green. I mean, I agree with a lot of what he says, but I mean, he looks like he just graduated high school. So I don't think he's the right approach. But putting together a third candidate candidate at this point in time. In my perspective, it would have to be somebody that is so wishy-washy down the middle to try to appeal to the left and the right.
Gee, that would be like Jeb Bush.
Yeah. And I don't know how that would work out.
Well, no one wanted him anyway. I mean, for crying out. And it's funny you say the Gary Johnson, because I was just reading before I come on this thing in the Daily Caller. Exclusive. David Koch of the Koch brothers pledges millions to Gary Johnson's presidential bid. And it's like, of course, they're denying it. But to have it even uttered under anybody's breath that this is going on is kind of silly. And we talked about the Koch brothers the other day about their return on investment. And they really don't want to get into the presidential politics anymore. So it's just it's just a mess. It's just a mess.
It is, and basically, I'm just going to keep my powder dry. I'm not going to spend the next couple of months trashing Donald Trump. I'm not going to spend the next couple of months, just sour grapes. I'm not going to do that because if the guy hits the 1237, that's it. That deal is sealed. I don't care what anybody says, and I'm going to probably tick off some fellow never Trumpers, but reality is what it is. I mean, if the guy hits 1237, he's the nominee. Yeah. But that doesn't mean I got a shill for him, and I certainly will not.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the last two times. You wanted your moderate Republican, you got him. That doesn't mean I'm going to go out there and jump up and down and go, yay, yeah.
I mean, there was 17 people that started off. Most of them I could really get behind. There's a lot of talent there. I think Bobby Jindal's pretty decent. I think Carly Fiorina's pretty decent. I think Rick Perry's pretty decent if he could just remember those branches of the executive administration that he'd get rid of. But, none of them are perfect. But I could easily get behind a lot of those guys. But I think Trump's downfall was, and to him, winning is everything. He just wants to win. And he went in with a scorched earth policy to destroy everybody else. And he didn't really care what that entailed. And I think he just poisoned the well so bad. That's why he's having so many problems right now, because when he first jumped in, I was a listener. I was interested.
Yeah.
And then he got personal, and it just really, that's not in my wheelhouse. I don't like that.
Well, it's against people that are supposedly, quote unquote, near your ideology. That why you got to do that? You want to win that bad? Really? There's no reason for that, and that's part of the problem I had with it. Was really, why are you doing that? You don't have to do that. And then the whining started with, they're stealing it from me, blah blah blah, and all that kind of nonsense. Is like, look, you get the number, like you just said, you get the number, you got the number. That's all you need to do. Work towards the number.
It is,
yeah.
And looking at it, the reason why he had to go in the personal attack modes, because the guy does not have a lot of knowledge on substantive issues and what's going on in the world. And we've seen that.
Yeah.
He's been given a pass by the media.
Well, they love the guy and because they're ratings whores, and every time they had him on, their ratings went up, dude, because he was going to say something really off the wall, not what you normally hear out of it. Was definitely not station-like. So their ratings would go up and it'd be like, yeah, okay. But wait until after the convention. We'll see how much they love him. You know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, and it's a frightening thought. And they released, I guess yesterday, Donald Trump released this list of his so-called preferred choice of Supreme Court
those 11 folks,
appointees, and of course that's all suggestions now. He already backpedaled on that, but I mean, he had to go to another group to come up with this list. He didn't know it off the top of his head. He doesn't know these people. The guy I supported, he would have known every one of these guys.
Well, yeah, because he presented arguments in front of the Supreme Court. He knows the system. He knows how it works. And so that I think that's probably going to be the deal for me to see what happens here is who he picks as his VP nomination. that's going to be more than probably any of the last elections. I mean, I understand it doesn't really hold any weight, but this one I think is going to hold some weight because it's going to kind of let people know exactly where he's going to, and is he really willing to work and make, kind of unify people instead of separating them like he has been.
Yeah, and the latest gossip over social media is that it's going to be Mike Huckabee.
Oh, my
Mike
goodness.
Huckabee.
Really?
I don't know how those two fit together. I can see the 3,000-mile-long staring Chris Christie standing next to him, but Mike Huckabee, that's really bizarre. But, I mean, they keep talking about unity, and maybe that's an option, the Southern Baptist kind of guy,
I don't get
Mike
that
Huckabee, and New York liberal. I don't know.
I don't get that one at all. That is a social media fantasy. I do believe there.
I hope so.
I just don't see that. I mean, but he lives in Florida now, brother.
Mike Huckabee?
Yeah.
Can we send him back?
I think Florida's CD1 would probably not be happy about it because he lives over there towards the Destin, Fort Walton area here in Florida. Yeah.
Well, nice area, but
yeah,
I know.
mean, he's a nice guy and everything, but gee, I don't know if I want him. If the heartbeat of the Trumpster goes away and stops beating, I don't know if I want that guy sitting there doing the LBJ thing for JFK. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, I understand that Sean Hannity is looking to move to Florida or Texas.
Well, I say no. Go to Tennessee or France.
That guy turned out to be a huge disappointment. I was a loyal listener of that show for a long time, and again, I talked about it when you just had me on in the beginning that. Yeah. Watching the media, how it's changed. The new media was supposed to be a rebuke of the legacy media, and I've watched one site after another, shill, whether one guy or the other. I mean, it's just instead of exposing the lies of the liberal media and reporting the real news, they've just become shill centers for their candidate of choice. And you look at sites like Breitbart, or Red State, I love that site, but it's a shill site.
Yeah, it's an establishment site put there to just keep the establishment alive. And so I think that's the one thing about this election cycle that has happened is it has shown the light on a lot of these cockroaches, and we can see them out there for what they really are now.
Oh, we certainly can, and it's really disappointing because I think we lose a lot of credibility in the new media when we let it get this bad, this far. It's really disappointing, and basically they've become no different than the legacy media, and it's unfortunate because many people have worked so hard, and it's a lot of effort. Joe, that. We spent a lot of time doing this, and to watch it just fall apart like this, it's a huge setback for the credibility.
Yeah, well, speaking of, Chris, we're coming up to the end here. Is there anything you want to tell folks how they can get a hold of you? Got anything you want to plug here? I'll give you that opportunity right now, man.
Oh, absolutely. First, I want to thank you, Joe, for having me on and the Conservative Syndicate. It was absolutely a pleasure. I guess I had a lot on my mind. You can find me at MRJA USA at Facebook, Twitter, and Tea Party Community. Also, Chris Ivan 334 at Facebook. You can join the masses in friending me. I will acknowledge that and friend you right back.
How cool. All right. Well, thanks again, Chris. It's been an honor to have you on, brother. We'll have to do this again, and let us know when you get your new endeavor going. We'll endeavor to make that happen for you and get you some listening time. All right, brother.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Not a problem, man. All right, folks. It's coming up there to the top of the hour. We got the Edwards Notebook, and then we'll hit the top of the hour and start our second hour. So please stick around, and we'll do our second hour. This is Joe Hakos here on the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back.
It is a shame when the government is more concerned with allowing males in women's restrooms than protecting our republic. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, together the Obama administration, along with Attorney General Loretta Lynch, are hanging America out to dry. The president, along with an assortment of progressive bigots, are literally on the muscle against Judeo-Christian ethics, the Bill of Rights, states' rights, and the Constitution. In this bizarre day and age of women being more important than men, I find it ironic that Obama, Lynch, and others would support idiots born as males who decide to slip on a dress to saunter into a woman's restroom just because they've decided they're one of the girls. In addition, Lynch is dead wrong in her assertion that states cannot say that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. North Carolina has the unalienable right to rule on behalf of common sense. We are either born male or born female, and public restrooms should reflect that, not what some misguided, useful idiot decides they are. The government's plot to use civil or bastardized rights to usurp God's creation with special rights for the sexually misguided must be obliterated. I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
All you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet.
Saying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. The second hour here on the Conservative Syndicate. This is Joe Hakos here, flying solo as the Mad Prophet John Matthews is starting his vacation. Hopefully he comes back all nice and stress-free, relaxed, and wonderfully recharged and ready to take on this madness that we have out here in our land, especially this election season. It just somehow, some way, just got really crazy. I hope you enjoyed that first hour. I hope you enjoyed Mr. Ivan coming on board with us. Chris is a conservative. He knows what being a conservative is, and he doesn't waver from it, as you probably can tell. And if you were listening, you probably heard that about him. And so it's really nice to have Chris come on and then just I haven't talked to him since this all started, at least this year. When it really got down to the nitty gritty and brass tacks and all that fun stuff, because Chris is, he's pretty busy. He was, he was going on a CPAC and all that fun stuff, getting out there, pressing the flesh, getting, firsthand instead of depending on stories from the media. So Chris is, I really appreciate him coming on by. Hey, it's kind of funny that, probably after this break that's coming up, probably talk a little bit about the thing that Mr. Ron Edwards was talking about, the bathroom thing. I got a little blurbs here about the bathroom situation that the Obama administration has decided to stick their nose in everybody's business on that one. So kind of get back to that. But this is our short segment, and as there is other things going on in the world, I'm sure we heard about the Egyptian airliner that left Paris and didn't make it to Cairo. And so, unlike the other media, I'm not going to speculate on what happened there because nobody knows yet. what we do know is it didn't make it to Cairo. That's about all we know. It took off from France and didn't make it to Egypt. Other than that, they really are just speculating on whatever went on there. So, and I'm not willing to get into what it was. But since there is other news out there, I wanted to talk to you about. I don't know if you knew about this, but there was a B-52 crash earlier this morning in Guam. You know, Guam is the island that Hank Johnson, representative from Georgia, was worried about the Marines capsizing if there was too many Marines on the island. So anyhow, but seven crew members of B-52 Stratoforces has been around forever now. Crashed around 8:30 a.m. Thursday morning, so it's nighttime there already. Tomorrow, I think. So international date line and all that fun stuff. Well, it was attempting to take off at Andersen Air Force Base there in Guam. So as it was taking off, obviously they're not sure exactly what happened, but all the crew members made it out. All 7 crew members came out, and this particular aircraft was being deployed. They were temporary duty from, I believe, let me scroll down here, I believe it was Minot in North Dakota. Yeah. Yes, they were the 69th Expeditionary, easy for me to say, Expeditionary Bomb Squadron, and they began their deployment on March 2nd as part of a rotation of aircraft and bombers en crew to Guam because, these guys need some flying time, obviously. So they're out of Minot, North Dakota. And so, the greatest thing about this is nobody on the ground was hurt. They were able to contain the aircraft wreckage as far as and the aftermath of that, because I've seen the pictures, and on takeoff, it's full of fuel, and they still haven't said what it was, what caused this crash of the B-52. Could have been any number of things. It could have been, I don't think it had been catastrophic engine failure. I think it's probably more just something to do with Guam's an island in the middle of the Pacific. Birds like that. That would be more likely a scenario to happen than something else. But all the crew members get out. Nobody on the so that's if you're going to have an aircraft accident or incident, that's the way to do it. We can always replace an aircraft. We won't be replacing this B-52, but we can't replace the crew members. And that's the bottom line on it. So God love those guys for what they were doing. I'm glad that they all got out. And if you've ever seen the B-52, it's not the easiest kind of aircraft to get in and out of. It's a warbird. It's not made for comfort at all. And having these folks on it, and they all got out. That alone just shows as a testament to their training and how they all paid attention to it, and they got out without anybody hurt. That is just blessings there for everybody there. I mean, just thank God for these guys, and they were able to do that. Oh, excuse me, I had to take a little drink there. So, as I said, there are other things going on in the world, and this is one of them. I don't know if I want to try to keep folks, abreast of some of this stuff, because you're not going to hear it on any other media. It's just not going to happen. You might see it scroll down the bottom of your screen on the television, and you're probably going to miss it the first time, and you're going to have to ignore what they're saying and pay attention to the scroll. But other than that, you're not going to hear about it. You might see a little blurb in the back of the paper or something, but you're probably not going to see much of anything happening because, let's face it, these folks are just out there. They're not going to make any money off of stories like this. And, these folks are out here. I don't think people understand that these aircraft and these people are out here flying, and they're being overtaxed. Let's face it. B-52 is very old, and it's scheduled to fly for another 20 years. They're not making anymore, and so they've upgraded, and it's a very airworthy airframe, and it does the job. It does the job quite well, and so we need to have these folks out there because they do project our presence out there in a mighty powerful way. So it is one of the things we need to make sure that we keep in mind. Now, in the time of Obama and these budget cuts, these people, we are shrinking our armed forces down, and that's probably something that we might get into on another show. But the way our armed forces are being used at this time is just, actually, it's unconscionable for what they're really doing. It's amazing that it's a testament to how the character of the people we have serving in our armed forces today. Leadership withstanding, there's some out there that are definitely good leaders, but to survive, it's more political than it has ever been before, and so it makes it kind of tough to balance those things out. What you need to do to accomplish the mission and what you need to do to stay in charge, so to speak, because there has been a lot of purging of people that did not agree with this current administration and its exploits, and so they were politely told to go find and seek employment elsewhere after they've been in for 25, 30 plus years. So it's a sad statement for that alone. So again, welcome to the show. I'm glad you guys stuck around for the second hour. We do have this time-honored tradition that John's going to make. He's going to make me, if he comes back and says, "Hey, you never played commercials," he's going to get on my case, and I'm going to have to answer to that. So, hey, we're going to come up on our first break here. It's a short break, but we'll come on back on this first break, and then it is time. It is time once again for Moments of Madness, because it is just a mad world out there. So we'll be right back right after this one.
Today on Moments of Madness. A recent fundraising email from the National Republican Senate Committee, NRSC, composed by House Speaker Paul Ryan and forwarded by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell as if to give it a sense of super double importance, underscores the complete disconnect between the GOP's establishment and those they claim they desire so much to represent. The same can be said of their liberal colleagues on the left. Senator McConnell once again attempts to sway registered voters to support the GOP majority by reciting its far too predictable incantation. Without Republican leadership in both chambers of Congress, conservatives will not be able to pass the policies necessary to get our country back on track and restore the American dream. This entire claim by the NRSC is in and of itself as oxymoronic as it is insulting to any voter who embraces the pure ideological premise of limited government that defines authentic conservatism. Those like McConnell, Ryan, and Lucifer's texting buddy, John Boehner, have long marginalized their base, except when dusting off the mantle of constitutional integrity and voter trust that otherwise lies dormant between layers of false rhetoric, lack of diligence, and outright corruption between election cycles. Truth is, today there's absolutely no representation by any true Republicans, any more than there is any evidence of leadership by any conservatives in both chambers of Congress. Here's the madness. While Speaker Ryan and Senate Majority Leader McConnell once again trust the stupidity of the American voter to blindly buy into their recycled template of majority means efficiency, they do so at their own peril. The presumptive nomination of Donald Trump, as well as a hangnail of the DNC, Uncle Bernie, indicates an oncoming tsunami of a dissatisfied, disenfranchised, ticked-off electorate who are not only ready for change, but ready to raise our entire system to the ground through a scorched earth strategy, complete with protests and riots that resurrect memories of the Weather Underground and Black Panther Party. There is indeed a unification of electoral allies forming, but these groups are not user-friendly towards each other or the establishment stalwarts that roam the halls of Congress. Donald Trump has incited a huge segment of the Senate majority that makes up middle America that is so incensed at a government so intent on saving itself at the cost of our republic, they willingly line up for hours to listen to Trump's isolationist doctrine spewed under the brand of Make America Great Again. Even voters who once ranted religiously about vetting candidates that reverently follow principles of conservatism now line up behind their great orange hope, the Pied Piper of populism, prepared to walk off the cliff, completely blind they are embracing one of the main players who has helped orchestrate our current state of demise. In the words of Democratic pollster Mark Malman, Bernie Sanders is posting Kim Jong II-like numbers among young people, and those are people with no connection or loyalty to the Clintons whatsoever. Yet the DNC establishment, like its more than moderate counterpart who only physically occupies the right side of the aisle, also believe this demographic will eventually fall into line next to their already marginalized minorities, soccer moms, and Hollywood celebrities. The leftist establishment is just as oblivious to the reality. The dumbed-down collective they created over decades of pandering shows every indication the next generation is ready and willing to embrace Uncle Bernie's idiocracy in exchange for taxpayer-subsidized beer bongs and contraception stocked in transgender bathrooms throughout the safe spaces that now identify America's public education system. Yes, the disconnect between both establishment and the electorate they claim they represent is as obvious as an Obama photoshopped birth certificate to the discerning eye. It reminds me of the conversation between teacher Richard Vernon, played by Paul Gleason, and janitor Carl, John Capellos, in The Breakfast Club.
Hey, Carl, you think I give one rat's ass what these kids think? I said, dude, you think about this. When you get old, these kids, when I get old, they're going to be running the country. Now, this is the thought that wakes me up in the middle of the night. That when I get older, these kids are going to take care of me. I wouldn't count on it.
To echo Carl's observation, neither should we. Yes, there is change in the air. We the people sense it and hear the call to do something, anything, no matter how reckless. On the other hand, the elites who have been ignored by us too long sense it also, but don't have a clue to just how close their world is to total upheaval. Somewhere in between hangs our republic. Maybe we need someone to send them an email reminding them who they are and what they're supposed to do. I wouldn't count on them reading it, though, or doing anything about it. This is John Matthews for Moments of Madness.
Oh, it helps when I push the button. Welcome back, everybody. This is Joe Akos here at the Conservative Syndicate. I hope you enjoyed John's Moment of Madness. And it is true. It is truly mad out there. And as Carl said, I wouldn't count on it. Now, don't count on these kids actually taking care of you in your old age. So, again, I just want to remind everybody, again, if you please go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, all one word, except for the .net part. And then you can pick up any of the archives of this show, which probably going to be about, I don't know, a few hours after we get off the air. And any of the other shows that we have out there. You can get our archives on everything. And you can also read and see about our other panel members that we have on the Conservative Syndicate. And so you can find out all that information there. So please go to the website and check it out. And so, hey, just before we went to the break there, we were talking about the B-52 that crashed in Guam this morning, or almost yesterday now for Guam folks. So, thankfully everybody got out alive. Hey, I picked up an article the other day. This is done on 2 days ago, the 17th. And this is by a guy named Justin Johnson, a little commentary on just the plight of the military today. So if you'll so indulge me, Mr. Johnson writes, the U.S. military seems to be breaking, literally. Senior military leaders have made dire statements before Congress, story after story that is revealing the potentially deadly challenges facing our men and women in uniform, besides being overextended and deployed, and more and more. Basically, and Congress is right now we say they don't do anything, but right now they're working on the defense authorization bill. And Mr. Justin Johnson here gives us 6 real examples why Congress needs to start with this particular defense authorization bill to start rebuilding our U.S. military. And the first one he talks about, and I don't know if some of you might have seen this report, the Marine Corps is pulling parts off museum planes to keep their F-18s flying. Even with that, only about 30% of their F-18s are ready to fly. 30% are ready to fly. So that means 70% are not ready to fly. And not only that, instead of getting 25 to 30 hours a month for their pilots, the Marine pilots are getting as little as 4 hours a month flying time. That is not a lot of time to keep your skills up, especially in the combat environment where you need to maintain. We have a superior technology edge, probably a lot of our foes, but you still need to be able to hone your skills a lot better. And I don't think 4 hours a month is quite going to cut it. 4 hours a month is what you would usually get out of your senior leadership that aren't flying on a regular basis, because they're flying desks. That's the unfortunate part of a lot of this. Once you get up in rank, you like to fly, but they end up putting you behind a desk and let you fly that. Second thing, only 1/3 of the Army's brigades are ready for combat. The Army now has fallen to the smallest level since before World War II. And we mentioned that on the show before, I believe. While top Army general says the Army would face a high military risk if it were to fight a serious war right now. So this is a time of war. Yeah, the ISIS people, they might not be up to speed with numbers and threatening us. Thank goodness we got oceans in their way, so they can't make it over here. But they got their friends over here. So as we saw in San Bernardino, again, we should be paying attention. Third, the Air Force is cannibalizing parts from some of the F-16s to keep other F-16s flying, pulling parts off museum planes, there's another thing, to keep their B-1 bombers flying. Half the Air Force squadrons are not prepared for serious combat. There's a statement right there. That is unbelievable that in this time that we are, and the threats that we have in the world today, that we are not prepared as we should be. Here's one for you. Number 4, the Navy keeps extending deployments of its ships, but the Navy still doesn't have enough to meet the demand. The Navy needs about 350 ships. It only has about 273. A little short there. And ships aren't like something that you can just snap your fingers and produce them. Although at the time we needed in World War II, our production was we could get these ships out and get them made and get them launched in quite a record fashion. But we're not there anymore. We certainly aren't there anymore. We can't do that in these shipyards we have right now. A lot of technology involved in the ships and everything, but we also just don't have. We're just not cranked up. We can't. It's just not there for us. And so, and the main reason is money. Money. Let's see. Talking about crashes in the Marine Corps. Serious crashes, Marine Corps planes and helicopters are nearly double the 10-year average. That could be part of their problem is the lack of parts. This part probably would have been replaced. You don't have it. It's airworthy, but then again, it would have been taken out of service if you'd had the part to replace it, that kind of thing. Just absolutely, it's a shame. Hopefully Congress starts to see this stuff because they're putting our sons and daughters in harm's way, just sending them out, just getting them there and using the equipment. Now, we don't need to put them in harm's way, just that alone. And to kind of tie this all together, which is we saw today, the Air Force B-52 bombers are an average of 53 years old. And he goes on to say, most Americans would not want to drive across country in a 53-year-old car, let alone go to combat in a 53-year-old airplane. I will give the aircraft some credit, though. It can do the job. And it's funny, they show a picture of a 1963 Oldsmobile. And Oldsmobile doesn't even exist anymore because of whatever. They just weren't making the sales, and GM said, hey, we're not doing it anymore. So, yes, a 53 Oldsmobile. Nice-looking car, but, I don't know how roadworthy it'd be. Now, with our aircraft, I can tell you that they're going to be maintained, but there's only so much you can do with maintaining it. You got to have the parts. You got to have money to get the parts. So you start cannibalizing, and then that happens. It happens all the time, especially if you're in a deployed location, whatever. You're going to cannibalize off of something to cause you got to meet mission requirements. So you're going to be out there, and you're absolutely going to do that. But this is done here at stateside, where you should have a bench stock of parts and equipment, and it's just not. They don't have the money. They haven't been able to buy. So it'd be really wonderful to see that. And this is all coming at the same time. The starts of Russian, again, invaded Ukraine, and it's going to, obviously, Putin's out there doing his thing. They're buzzing our warships up in the Baltic and doing unprofessional, shall we say, maneuvers towards our military members. And so, it's basically, there are things that you're doing to aircraft. They're flying over our RC-135s and that kind of stuff, doing barrel rolls around them. And so this is stuff that, is it going to cause us to go to war? Or is it just some crazy Russian pilot being a show off and just doing? I don't think Putin's out there telling people to do that. So it'd be one of those, But Russia is, they seem to be out there flexing their muscles a little bit more. China's building islands out in the middle of the South Pacific and saying, don't you come over here, which we have taken our ships, whatever we have out there. We've overflown them with our aircraft, and we're going right by them with our ships, and we're saying, hey, this is international waters. I don't know what you think you're doing, China. But the fact is that since we are where we are in our standing right now as far as military-wise and politically with Obama constantly out there apologizing, these people feel empowered that they're going to be able to do it again. And then Iran's pursuing the nuclear weapons. North Korea already has nuclear weapons, and obviously we face a threat from terrorism and cyber attacks. That's going on. Thank you, Hillary. Yes, cyber attacks. I'm sure they know what you were talking about. They got your emails. Bottom line on this, Congress needs to start rebuilding our U.S. military. Can't really let this go much further, because if we do, you got those people to say, well, it costs too much money. Yeah, it costs too much money. What really costs is if we get into a situation to where we have to use the military because there's a conflict that we're somehow involved with, and we're not prepared. Then it really costs. And I don't know. I don't want my sons or daughters to be put into an environment where they basically got one hand tied behind their back because people don't want to spend the time and don't understand that, our way of life and liberty and freedom don't come cheaply, and you have to pay a heavy price for that. And so it's time, well past time, to let's start paying this. If we're going to have it, we need to project the strength. Like this reminds me so much of the early 80s after Jimmy Carter. Thank goodness he only had one term. Unfortunately, Barack Obama's had 2 terms. Of course, Barack Obama's had a lot of help with our outstanding members of Congress who, for some reason, are more worried about getting elected rather than defending the nation. They all talk a good game, but the actions speak louder than words. And this is one of the actions they could take. Start funding the military, build it back up, at least get us up to a point where we can do some things. We don't have to cannibalize aircraft from museums, for crying out loud. I mean, when they go to a museum, they take a lot of the parts off to begin with because, well, They're not needed in a museum. And let's face it, they're just going to be useless there, and we could use them somewhere else. And also, there's a lot of times there's a lot of the, they're, lack of a better term, they're classified, whatever that part might be. So we're going to take them off. So we shouldn't have to cannibalize museum aircraft to keep our active aircraft flying. That should never be happening. We should never be doing that. That's just absolutely dumbfounds me. So again, we have Congress to thank, Barack Obama to thank, and who gets to pay the price? Yes, our men and women of the armed service are all volunteer armed services, as a matter of fact. All right, hey, bottom of the hour, we have to go ahead and pay some bills. So stick around, folks. We'll be right back here on the Conservative Syndicate, and we'll get you right after the break here.
Red State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500 $100. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-814-5188. 800-814-5188. 800-814-5188. That's 800-814-5188.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world. Then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Joe Hakos here on the Conservative Syndicate. Flying solo. Mr. Mad Prophet himself, John Matthews, is doing a vacay right now, and hopefully he's probably got a little drink or something with one of those little umbrellas in it, probably kicking back. And later on, I don't know, maybe if he's so inclined, he might just go ahead and find a computer and do like we recommend for you guys. Go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and pull up one of the archives and take a listen to it. Share it with your friends, especially your liberal friends, your progressive friends, and that ought to make for interesting conversation here coming up. And remember, Saturday is Armed Forces Day, and see a member of our Armed Forces go out there and thank them. Just shake their hand and tell them you appreciate them. That's really, not that they're out soliciting and that kind of thing, but it's nice to show that there are people out there that care. All right. So, speaking of caring, I didn't know that Barack Obama was so interested in, our bathrooms. It was really awesome for that guy to be really concerned about, how people go to the bathroom. But just with anything. We're telling them basically, really? Thanks, but no thanks. Common sense is going to prevail on this. It's just a matter of when. But I don't know if folks saw this. This is one of the things I saw this article a little bit by Philip Wegman. And it's the title, 73 House Republicans sign a letter demanding answers on Obama's bathroom directive. Now, as you probably remember, Barack Obama sent out a directive basically to all the schools in the nation that you will comply with this initiative, this transgender bathroom issue, that was so much. I mean, it's such a big problem in America that we have to spend time on this. And so basically, the letter was supposed to be, how will the guidelines be enforced? What legal authority does the administration have to change any rules? What conscience rights will be recognized and accommodated for those that feel that this is not the right thing that needs to be done? What's going to happen to the schools? Those are just three of the things that are coming up. But what I find really a lot of times it's like, okay, you can write about this stuff, but sometimes it's just better to kind of read these things. And so I have in front of me the letter is written by North Carolina's 6th District Congressman Mark Walker. Okay, and so he wrote a letter, and this is to the Honorable Loretta Lynch, Attorney General of the United States Department of Justice, or Injustice, or however you want to look at it, and the Honorable John King, the Secretary of Education, United States Department of Education. And it starts out, Dear Attorney General Lynch and Secretary King, on 13 May 2016, the United States Department of Education, ED, and the Department of Justice, DOJ, released significant guidance regarding the ED and DOJ's interpretation of Title IX's prohibition of sex discrimination in educational programs and activities operated by recipients of federal financial aid. Oh, yeah, if you got the carrot going out there, that money carrot, well, we're going to put some strings, and these are pretty big strings. This guidance expands the ED and DOJ's interpretation of sex discrimination to include not only an individual's biological sex, but also an individual's internal sense of gender. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh there. Yeah, I did. Specifically, the guidance states that, and this is what the edict from on high said. As a condition of receiving federal funds, a school agrees that it will not exclude, separate, deny benefits to, or otherwise treat differently on the basis of sex any person in its educational programs or activities unless expressly authorized to do so under Title IX or its implementing regulations. The departments treat students' gender identity as students' sex for the purpose of Title IX and its implementing regulations. This means a school must not treat a transgender student differently from the way it treats other students of the same gender identity. So that was a mouthful when that wasn't. And, you know, a lot of times when you see this stuff, you kind of have to go, what? Really? Are they really serious? And that's kind of what this letter is asking from Congressman Walker. Are you serious here? And it asks some proper questions, which makes perfect sense because, well, although, and it's typical, we're going to give you an edict, but we're not going to give you clear understanding of what we really expect. So, Congressman Walker's questions were, considering this guidance, please, 1, clarify specifically all actions that the ED and DOJ jointly or separately will take against or regarding a teacher, school administrator, educator, school contractor, or a person volunteering at the school who does not comply with this guidance. So what actions are you going to take on these people, Miss Lynch and the Honorable Mr. King? 2, detail whether the ED, of course that's Department of Education again, and the DOJ will recognize or accommodate the rights of conscience and privacy in an individual's or institution's non-compliance with this guidance. Yeah, okay. Little Sisters of the Poor come to mind with the contraception issue with Obamacare. We see how that worked out. And again, just real quick, the Supreme Court does not, in their rulings, they're just opinions. It's exactly what they are. It's not the all, the end all here. We've been conditioned by the media mostly, and with our educational system, what the Supreme Court says is a rule, and then we must follow it. Like there's some kind of monarchy sitting in robes on the bench up there in the Supreme Court. That's not how it works. Okay, let me get back to this. Just get off into a tangent there. Sorry. Number 3, considering this guidance. Number 3, list all actions that the Department of Education and DOJ either jointly or separately will take against or regarding a school district, or state in which a teacher, school administrator, educator, school contractor, or a person volunteers does not comply with this guidance. 4, detail all actions that a school, teacher, school contractor, and person volunteering must take to be in compliance with this guidance. That seems to be a very pertinent question. Just how do you expect us to implement your guidance, Loretta and Mr. King? Yes, please tell us how. And then we also, number 5, confirm whether the Department of Education, and the DOJ consider this guidance, and this is really good, consider this guidance to be legally binding, and whether the Department of Education and Department of Justice will report this guidance to Congress. Because Congress does have oversight on this. So you can expect, for whatever good it's going to do, Congress to have some oversight and do something about this. I seriously doubt it. But hey, this is not alone here. There's other people taking exception to this. So kind of want you. 6, delineate the statutory authority under which the Department of Education and DOJ issued this guidance. 7, explain why schools must disregard the privacy, discomfort, and emotional strain imposed on other students during the use of bathroom, showering, and changing facilities and overnight accommodations as these schools comply with this guidance. And number 8, explain to what extent teachers, guidance counselors, school administrators, and parents and guardians of students were consulted regarding the implementation and effects of this guidance. Congress, expect a reply by 30 May 2016. We look forward to your response. And it's signed Mark Walker, North Carolina 6th District Member of Congress, and there are additional signatories here on this. So, but this is not the only thing, not the only people upset about this overreach of the Obama administration when it comes to our children using the bathroom or shower facilities at schools. Okay? So, it's that time again. We're going to have to take a break. Got to pay some bills before Mr. Matthews gets upset with me. So, we're going to make sure we do that. So, again, Joe Hakos here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back after these messages.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back to the Conservative Syndicate here with Joe Hakos. Yeah, it's me. I'm flying solo, but that's okay. We're getting used to it now. I think I'm getting into a groove, and then the show's going to end, and then, what are we going to do? Well, we'll just have to come back and do it again tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. All right. Hey, just before the last break, we talked about Congressman Walker from North Carolina sending a little letter out to Brock's little henchman, Loretta Lynch, easy for me to say, and Secretary King, Department of Education, about, hey, just how do you expect people to do this little edict that you sent on from high about people identifying with their sex, different from what they were born with, and using facilities in schools, and and especially if you get money from the federal government, then you must comply with this. So, but this was that's Congress in D.C. It's kind of funny, but as I said, there's other entities out there who are also not happy with this this overreach, and the letter from Congress was done yesterday, Wednesday. This article I'm here, Mary Lou Lang Bird, talks about across America, state officials are rebelling against Obama's transgender bathroom decree. And I'll read, across America, local state officials are pushing back very strongly against the Obama administration's decree concerning transgender bathrooms, transgender use of school bathrooms and locker rooms. Pennsylvania, this is kind of surprising me. Pennsylvania lawmakers are the latest to criticize the Obama proclamation, which orders schools may not require transgender students to use facilities inconsistent with their gender identity or to use individual user facilities when other students are not required to do so. That's because the other students are using bathrooms made for them. Crying out loud. It's like, hey, I'm going to identify as a potted plant, so that way I can just go out in the front yard and use the bathroom. Yeah. Well, sorry, I digress. But it's funny. Nearly 100 legislatures in the state expressed, this is the state of Pennsylvania now, expressed their outrage in a letter asking the president to rescind his order immediately. Pennsylvania became widely disseminated yesterday, and roughly the same time, the officials in Mississippi said that they're not going to follow the Obama administration's guidance, mind you. Carrie Wright, superintendent of Mississippi's Department of Education, said her office will take no action until the department's 9 members discuss the issues. Last week, here we go, a Texas school district superintendent also blasted Obama's directive. He said he's not a leader. Superintendent loses it, just lost it on the Obama transgender bathroom decree. Arizona, of course, Arizona's been not real cooperative with the administration for quite a while on a whole bunch of different subjects. But Arizona's top education official, Diane Douglas, called Obama's decree yet another example of federal overreach negatively impacting our state schools. But if you want to get that little bunch of money from the Department of Education, you're going to have to play. Sorry, that's how this thing's working. Again, another example why the Department of Education, Rick Perry, that's the one of those departments, should be disbanded and just thrown out. We could save some money there and drive our educational needs to our students down to a local level, closer to the actual people that need it. The students need it. Why is it going to be up in D.C.? Anyway, I digress. Georgia has also pushed back against the directive. Governor Nathan Deal said the Obama administration's guidance has generated confusion and controversy. That's in the implementation and what happens if you don't do it. Not the fact that these people are confused of what sex they are and the controversy it created among students and amounts to federal overreach. And that was reported in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, a very conservative, air quotes, publication, not. The letter to Obama, signed by dozens of Pennsylvania lawmakers, charges that the Obama edict flatly violates federal law. I got the letter up here. I find this one. They call it the Dear Colleague letter. The one paragraph ends, the parents of these young girls are rightly concerned about your policy and its implementation for their daughter's safety. Mm-hmm. Yes. But here's the line. Here's the part that really gets to it. The fact that this directive mandates a change in already established law under Title IX with no regard to legislative process is indefensible. Where have we seen that before? It is the duty of Congress to address any changes in statutory law. This letter's threat to federal funding for public schools which do not comply with this unsupported directive is a deliberate attempt to circumvent the constitutional legislative process and flies in the face of the very idea of a constitutional republic as envisioned by this country's founders. And then it's the last line. We urge the president to direct the Dear Colleague letter to be rescinded immediately. We must immediately rescind it. Like that's going to happen. But we need to have more people push back against this. These states, these governors need to do this. If we had more of that, this kind of stuff wouldn't have even thought of. What they'd have thought of, but they know they couldn't never get away with it. So, again, states' rights, the 10th Amendment, and this right here alone, this is one of the reasons why we must rein in this federal government. Title IX protects students' gender identity. It's already been decided by a federal court in Pennsylvania. This missive then explains Title IX provides that educational programs cannot discriminate on the basis of sex. Yes, that's absolutely right. The federal court of Western District of Pennsylvania found that Title IX's language did not provide a basis for a transgender status claim. So courts have already ruled on this. So why are these school districts going to comply with this? Why would they comply with it? I guess up in Milwaukee, where they're going to do Black Lives Matter studies at almost $500,000 a year proposed now. I guess they'll go along with this. We'll just build all new bathrooms. Maybe there'll be the little blue ones that are sitting on the construction sites. Those would probably fit just quite well. I think those will fit in quite well. I think so. Title IX clearly permits schools to provide students with certain sex-segregated spaces, including bathrooms, locker room facilities, to perform a certain private activities and bodily functions consistent with the individual's birth sex. Yes, that is true. And that's the same thing North Carolina said for all its public buildings. And again, these people are coming back saying, you're denying us our right to go to the bathroom. I don't see the governor in any of these places or people, there's school administrators in any of these places. I don't see the governor taking the state police and throwing and checking people stopping at rest stops to perform what you do at a rest stop if you've been on a long trip. And saying, nope, you can't go in that one. You got to go in this one. Are you kidding me? That's not happening. But yet, this is, this administration throws this out there to distract from other important issues of the day just to see what's going to be thrown against the wall and stick. So, just mind-boggling with this administration. And what Barack Obama is going to try to get away with before he gets out of office. So, hey, I do appreciate everybody being here today. Just want to remind folks that they can go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and pick up the archive. Hey, tomorrow we're going to have Bob Cardoza on. He's going to do his regular spot with us. We're going to have Audrey Russo on tomorrow, so that's going to be a lot of fun for us. It's going to be pretty awesome to have them folks on here. So I do appreciate everybody stopping by and making this all happen for us. I appreciate everybody's putting up with me to get the show going. It's been a lot of fun. It takes a little bit to get used to, but hey, it's been exciting. I really do enjoy doing this. And look, we can't do this without you guys. So once again, thank you for being here with us, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Come on by, and we'll have some more fun tomorrow. Again, Joe Hakos signing off here on the Conservative Syndicate.
Thanks
for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all of our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's the conservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best and uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, signing off until next time, right here on the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.